This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
We've witnessed the unhinged nature of Donald Trump for the past 6 years, 7 years going on. We know the violence that can be done in his name. We know the violence that has been attempted to be carried out in his name. The MAGA pipe bomber, Caesar Sayoc was his name. The many violent acts that took place at rallies, Donald Trump promising to pay legal bills. I wish I could punch him in the face. We witnessed the insurrection, this dispatched armed mob that was sent to the Capitol to overturn a free and fair and settled American election by way of overturning or overthrowing the United States government. We've witnessed this. And leading in to 2024, Donald Trump is up to his old tricks, especially now that he's facing jail, that he's facing many felony counts for his crimes. Now that consequences are actually on the table because he's no longer the president, he's no longer actively serving this country, serving Little Rich, he is now preparing himself to dispatch the mob once again. Here's the evidence. I've got audio recordings. He's campaigning in Iowa. He goes on a local morning radio show, and the host is pressing him. He went on with Doug Wagner, who was in for Simon Conway. And Doug Wagner is asking him, pressing him on the, by the way, they're all kind of nuts. He's pressing him on the possibility of arrest. And I have two clips for you here. I'm cutting out a bunch of nonsense, but in the beginning, he asked the question about what if you are jailed pretrial confinement, and they play a clip from the Buck Sexton and Travis Clay show where they have a woman named Julie Kelly on who's saying that she believes there's a better than 50% chance that Jack Smith requests pretrial confinement for Donald Trump to put him in jail while he's awaiting trial. I'll just play that, and then we'll get to the next, and I'll explain. I'll set up the next clip. Watch this.
You said on Truth Social you received a letter on Sunday from the Department of Justice's special counsel, Jack Smith, indicating that you need to basically appear in front of a grand jury. You indicated that maybe you could be indicted or even arrested. They were talking about this today on the Clay and Buck show here on all of these stations. I wanted to play something for you and get your reaction to this. I'm going to play it right here, and I'm just going to hit the mic so you can hear the whole thing.
You think that Jack Smith might say the president needs to be held immediately. He's a threat to the country. He can't be allowed out pending this trial.
Yes, I believe there is a more than 50% chance that Jack Smith will seek pretrial detention for Donald Trump if he is charged with seditious conspiracy or even obstruction of an official proceeding, because there is precedent in this January 6th prosecution investigation.
Okay, President Trump, there's two things in there, is that they wouldn't have Julie Kelly on if she was some sort of a nut job. She's not. This is something she says, hey, it could very well happen, and she explained why right there. Number one, do you think this is going to happen? Number two, if something like that does happen, what do you say to the millions of very impassioned, emotional people in the United States who have been and are continue to be your supporters?
Well, I think it would be a very bad thing for the country if they even tried it.
First of all, it might not need to be said, but any guest who goes on with Clay, Travis, and Buck Sexton is not a whack job. They're absolutely fringy and cringy and a wingnut, as Doug Wagner referred to her. Here's a tweet from Julie Kelly. So proud of it, she pinned it to her Twitter account just from the other day. January 6th surveillance shows how Capitol and D.C. police ambushed peaceful protesters inside the rotunda that afternoon. She's talking about January 6th. Peaceful protesters, and the D.C. and Metro Police, or D.C. and Capitol Police, ambushed them in the rotunda in a place they weren't supposed to be, in a building they had just violently attacked. A mob of people that resulted in the death of the colleagues of these cops. The next tweet, Officers from both departments stormed the rotunda. The building in which they work, apparently they stormed it. Stormed the rotunda at 3 p.m. and started shoving, punching, and knocking down protesters, doing nothing more than taking photos and waving flags. This is the non-wingnut that Clay Travis and Buck Sexton had on. One more, for your edification. Body cam recordings also show how unnecessarily violent police became in the rotunda. They want to make these people martyrs. So anyway, this is the woman who's giving that prediction of the greater than 50% chance. I believe she's wrong. It's clear she's wrong. But Donald Trump, I think it would be a very bad idea for the country if they even tried it, he says. Kind of vague, right? Well, then he rambles on a little bit, and Doug Wagner, tenacious, gets back to the question, and this is how that went down, and it gets scary.
Second thing, if that something like that does happen, what do you say to the millions of Americans who are very passionately supporting you, who may be provoked by something like that?
They are never leaving us because they want to make America great again. They're with us. They have a passion like nobody's ever had. We've never had anything like it. I just see a poll in Iowa where we're leading by a lot. We're leading in New Hampshire by a lot. We're leading overall by record-type numbers. We're beating the Republicans by 30, 40 points, 50 points even. We're beating Biden by a lot. Now, if I wasn't running, then you wouldn't even have any of these questions because you wouldn't be asking. They're trying to cheat on an election by doing this. It's election interference.
Is it something that concerns you? And this is the last time I'm going to address this because I want to move on to something that's more related to the issues of the election. Is it something that concerns you of the people making sure that they don't go out of their right mind if something like that happens? Because I know what I'm thinking of could happen if that, for example, they do say Jack Smith says, okay, I'm going to put Donald Trump in jail.
I think it's a very dangerous thing to even talk about because we do have a tremendously passionate group of voters. And I mean, maybe 100, 150. I've never seen anything like it. Much more passion than they had in 2020 and much more passion than they had in 2016. I think it would be very dangerous. I've never even heard, nobody's even suggested this except you.
Right. Well, and I did, and Julie did. I just wanted to make sure there was something that you could respond to because it's something that was there.
It's a very dangerous thing, he says, because we do have a passionate group of voters. Much more passionate than 2016 or 2020, he said. A very dangerous thing because they're so passionate. The question was, what would you do to cool, what did he say exactly? Is it something you're concerned with, making sure they don't go out of their right mind? That was the question. Is the violence, the potential of violence from your supporters, something you're concerned about? What would you do to quell their angry spirits? And Donald Trump just says, it would be very dangerous because my supporters are passionate. If this was it on its face, it would be bad enough. But the very same day, Donald Trump retruthed this, posted this to his Truth Social account. This is what is culminating and initiating what I predict to be violence on the part of Donald Trump supporters at his hand. What you're getting ready to watch also, I believe, is just the beginning. Remember that I said this, the closer we get to consequence for Donald Trump, the closer we get to the possibility of jail time for Donald Trump, this whipping his crowd into a frenzy once again is going to be at another level. This is what he shared the same day that he talked about his passionate supporters.
If you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before. If you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
I played it twice so you would get the message. So you could see just how unhinged Donald Trump is. He's signal boosting that kind of a message. He's signal boosting, if you fuck around with us, if you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before. What exactly is he talking about? What things are they going to do to us, to me, presumably, that have never been done before? Of all the horrors in the world that have been committed upon other human beings, what could they do that's never been done before? This is scary. This is threatening. This needs to be addressed by federal authorities. It's not a wink wink anymore with Donald Trump. We've witnessed the lengths to which he will go to get his will imposed upon the country. We witnessed a violent, armed mob attack the temple of our democracy in an attempt to overthrow the United States government. Maybe pretrial confinement is in order for Donald Trump. He's attacking the judge, he's attacking the prosecutor, he's attacking the grand jury, he's attacking anyone who opposes him. And he's ratcheting up and cranking up the heat. Gonna get worse before it gets better. I hate being the one who says that all the time, but I don't see that it's false. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can leave a comment. We can mix it up in the comments. You can also call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, absolutely, as always, daily@dollemore.com. If I bring you value on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis or video-by-video basis, whatever, please consider, if you're not already supporting the channel, helping produce my work, click the join button below, become a channel member for $1.99 a month, click that super thanks button, or even better, you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast, which absolutely supports both YouTube and the podcast. It's not just a fundraising mechanism for the podcast. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Follow me on social media if that's your thing. I'm at Dollemore, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook. Are there others? I don't know. Find me. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.